We are live. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for our late start today. Had a lot going on this morning, so we just wanted to get going. Didn't want to miss it. Um, I don't like, postponing or missing things, but it was kind of conflicting with my other appointment. So, but here we are, right? Here we are, Alia, right?
Yes, here we are. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yes. Happy Monday. And how was your weekend, Alia? Tell us a little bit how it was. I saw you were out there in the trenches working.
It was a nice, busy weekend. I got a couple of new buyers, so I was showing properties Saturday and Sunday, um, and dabbling, in a couple of birthday parties as well. So it was a good, I think, balanced weekend. Some work and some personal time as well.
Always necessary,
Yeah.
to do both. So that's awesome. That's awesome. How are you seeing? Are you still seeing that it's, still super competitive? What are you seeing?
It varies by area. It's still very competitive, and also obviously on the property. But in LA it's still being very competitive. People still offering substantially above listed price, and I see the same thing in areas where the homes may be, just very beautiful, completely remodeled or turnkey. So don't see that as much in homes that haven't been really updated. But there's still some competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for watching. Yeah, you know what? So let's just say, for instance, you get a phone call from a potential seller, and they ask you, Ali, I want to, sell my home. I'm thinking about it. Um, what do you recommend as far as pricing? And let's just say the last one and that one sold for 650. Let's just say. Um, what would your suggestion be? Like this home is turnkey. Let's just assume, your client's home is, it has even more to offer than that last one that sold for 650, and it's just absolutely beautiful. What would your advice be for them?
Depends on the needs of the seller. I would ask them how motivated they are, how quickly do they need to go, and where are they going, because that's going to dictate really the strategy, right? So if they must sell within a time frame, they want to be in their new home by the end of the year, then probably list it just below market value, maybe 5-10,000 below, to generate a lot of excitement. If they are just taking their time, they're not in a hurry, then list it at market value. So it really depends on their needs, their expectations, and what it is that they want to do.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. We're seeing that, and a lot of sellers sometimes are scared. They think, well, I want 700. Why would you list it at 650? So they don't understand how it works. But I
Right.
think that's where us as agents, it's important that you study the market. You show them, look, when you do your CMA, it's going to show like, hey, these, listed here, but they sold here. So it's so, important, for for them to, for you to be able to explain, to them exactly how it works and exactly, what to expect.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I have seen that.
Yes, and you just hit something very crucial. Have statistics, have information for them, where you show them this is what it listed for, this is what it sold, but also on the flip side of that, maybe show some expires or some that have been on the market a little longer. There are not too many of those, but you will find some where they have been overpriced and they're sitting there because they're being overpriced. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen on occasion. I've seen some properties that you have to see the price reduced. We see some price reduction because they listed it, too aggressively, too high.
Right. Yeah. And like you're saying, we're seeing the effects of that too. Some of these sellers are a little bit upset because of that. And let's see here. Good morning. I'm not sure who you are, Facebook user. Let's see if we can figure this out really quick. I'm not sure. Um, everybody's different. Oh, it's Brenda. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning, Brenda.
Yeah, so I'm definitely seeing that as well, and just talking to a lot of different people who are getting ready, who are looking at the market. And actually, I did read this weekend. Let me see real quick that where is it at? That home prices are expected to grow by another 16% by the end of next year. So they are projecting prices to continue, to increase. And I think it is, they're just saying that it just, there's just still so much of a shortage, of homes. And we had talked about the SB9 last time in regards to, being able to now, before, if your home is a single family residence, you weren't able to add, an ADU or, a second home, a guest home or anything like that. Well, now, with that being passed, we're actually getting owners calling us, asking us about that. They're saying, hey, and then now Cal Hafa is offering a $25,000 grant to build an ADU.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's so much out there that's why it's super important for us, as realtors, as loan officers, as just, professionals in real estate, to know all of the facts so that way we can help and reach as many people as possible. So yeah, I mean, there's just so much opportunity out there because a lot of people don't want to move. They love their home, but they say we just need it to be bigger, or we just need this, or we need that. And it's like, okay, well, here could be, the opportunity,
And
just
I'm getting some feedback from even from buyers as well who are aware that they now can turn an ADU or even expand a little bit bigger. Now I'm looking at families are coming to me that are big families and saying as long as he has a two-car garage because we want to convert it or we want to do this and we want to build extend so people are becoming very aware, getting informed, and obviously their needs are going to change based on the new on the the game changing rules.
absolutely. And another thing too, just for those of you who aren't aware, I went with an agent from our office to an appraisal last week. I hadn't seen her listing, but she asked me if I would go with her because she wanted my opinion. Because she was so stressed out about value. She just said, Sonia, I want to make sure our value's there. I can't tell my seller it's going to be less. And I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. No problem. Well, let me tell you something. When I went to her listing, she had it down as a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. But when I went, the back part is not permitted. But because it's attached to the home and the work-like manner it was done in, I told her, this is truly a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And she says, yeah, but I can't count it. I said, oh, yes, you can. So I said, let's wait for the appraiser to come in and let's see what he says. In my opinion, she undersold that house. Like, I couldn't even believe the price, and she was worried about value. So anyhow, fast forward 10 minutes later, right? Appraiser comes in, looks at it, and he says, oh, she kept saying, are we good with value? Are we good with value? He said, well, yeah, I don't see an issue. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. Regardless of it being permitted, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. So she had gave comps of mid-5s because that's the 3-bedroom, 1-baths. But the 4-bedroom, 2-baths are in the mid-6s. And this was in contract for 560. So he's like, all day long, there's no problem. And so then I asked him, sit here and explain to us. And, and it's always good to pick an appraiser's brain. It really is, and I actually asked him if he would mind coming into our office and giving us a class because he's been doing it for a long time. He's very knowledgeable. He's a little shy. We were kind of making him feel good about himself. So that way, trying to boost his ego a little bit. Then he started getting personal with us. And so we're like, okay, wait, whoa. we just want you to come into the office and feed your knowledge to us, but it's so important, agents, if you're not sure, don't assume that it has to match the square footage that's on title. if you notice, there's a lot of times it's changed. If you go to taxes, it'll say MLS says 4, but title says 3, 1, 2, or whatever it is. You can go off what the seller says, and ultimately it's your job to meet the appraiser out there and to provide them with the information. But I see it happen all the time. So just be a little bit more mindful about that, because if the sellers find out that they could have got more later, they might not be very happy, so you just want to make sure that, every listing is a different challenge. They're not all going to fit in this box, because especially like you're saying in LA County and Pomona and a lot of these cities where people are adding on to every window or door opening, because they just want to make it bigger. La Puente, I see it a lot too. So we had one, Jennifer and I actually, that went last week. We had took comps because we just thought it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And when we got there, they split the home in half. They split it in half. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on this side with a complete kitchen, living. And then they added a kitchen and a living, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on that side. So it's like, and they did it such a great way. They even split the backyard, like the entries, like they did such a great job. It's like, okay, well, we had your comps here in the, 575-ish. Oh yeah, no, you're above 700 easy, because when we went in there, we're like, okay, no, this is a completely, different home. This is not a single family residence. And they even had 2 additional bedrooms built in the back, which I didn't even count because they're not attached to the house. They were like sheds kind of, but made into bedrooms. It's crazy, whatever fits, right, and works. But yeah, just be, like I said, be very mindful of that and make sure that, you ask, because they're going to want to know, what they're looking at, so that way, they feel that they're working with someone who's definitely knowledgeable.
And we see that a lot, Lake County. I mean, that is so prevalent. So that's very key. And thank you for the reminder. And I guess that's one of the important things when we're doing also the pre-listing consultation. Ask those questions, especially anything in LA County, because you see that so much where garage has been converted, a room has been added, a patio has been enclosed, and now there's another family room.
And that's another thing. A lot. Some agents are afraid to take an FHA offer if the garage is converted. And you don't have to be afraid. And I tell the agents, if there is heating is required. They can consider it an ADU if there's a heater. I've had where we had a listing and there was no heating. But the appraiser told me, do you want me to count it as a bonus room, which obviously is less, because remember, if it's a bonus room, you no longer have garage. So now they have to, adjust for no garage and now consider it a bonus room. You get more for a garage than a bonus room. So he's asking me, what do you want me to do? Or do you want to make it an ADU? And by making it an ADU, I need you to install a heater. So I Googled heater, and it's, to add a heater, and it was like $500. So I contacted the buyer because my seller wasn't going to do anything. And I told the agent, hey, do you want this as an ADU or what do you want? Because the appraiser's trying to do value. And she says, no, we'll install that heater. And they did. And so they ended up getting even more, than the actual, price, I think by 5,000 or 6,000. But they were happy because now it's not permitted, but because it was done in a workmanlike manner and, with the necessities that you need to live, they counted it as an ADU. So
that's fantastic.
So a lot of times I know a lot of agents are afraid. They don't want to take FHA because they think FHA is, is going to, knock it down and do all these things. And that's not necessarily true. Don't be afraid of that. It really, really isn't true. I mean, if the home is falling apart, that's what I'm saying. If it's not done in a workmanlike manner, there's, extension cords running for electricity, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. Yes, you're going to have an issue. But if it's done right, there's nothing to be worried about.
Fantastic.
So anyhow, that's basically what, some good information, I hope, for you guys this Monday. Looking forward to a great week. It is kind of gloomy today, which I was surprised. I expected it to be warm. It was so hot over the weekend.
Did it rain? Did it rain by your area?
Rained, yeah, like drizzle. Yeah, like drizzle. But it is gloomy and, kind of cold. So just, make sure you're staying warm and taking your meds, and so you don't get sick. Everybody's freaked out right now if you cough, so make sure
This is
you're,
true. Yeah, keeping the body healthy.
yes, vitamins for sure. Eat good. Um, but let's see. What was your quote of the week, Alia?
Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you develop. And this reminds me so much of you, and so many of the top producers. It's something that we work at on a daily basis, something that you reminds us a lot actually on a daily basis, to go and do our portion, every day and every moment. So this is a reminder. Sometimes we look at successful people and we get a little bit flustered because it's like, wow, when will I be there? Will I ever be there? Achieve that level of success. But if we remind ourselves that it's something that it's on a constant pursuit, it's not something that is going to drop on your lap, or it's just going to happen overnight.
It's funny that you say that. It's super true. I recently started going back to the gym, and I can tell you, there's girls in there who they've been doing it 3, 4, 5 years consistently. And I feel the same way. I'm like, man, when am I going to get there? Which I know I've been there, and it's like, what work it takes to get there and the time. But I totally get what you're saying. They put in the work every day. They're consistently eating right. They're consistently, making sure that they're healthy. They're doing all the right things to live that lifestyle, and to have that body, or what, that, just everything. So and it's the same, for in real estate. And I can't, stress it enough. Every day matters, every day. I went this morning, on a listing appointment, and, I was talking to the seller, and she told me, she says, you know what, Sonia, I talked to several different agents, and honestly, I feel, very comfortable with you. I see, everything that you've done, and how you work, and I just trust you. And, it just shows that every day they see that I show up regardless. I'm always showing up, and I can't stress how important that is. You have to show up every day, even on the days where I don't feel like it. I have those days too. There's days I wake up and I'm like, man, I just want to stay in bed today. Like, I worked all week. There's times I don't take a day off, and I just need that time. But I'm like, no, today is the reason you need to go. And then something happens to show me why I had to be there. So it's so easy to, especially right now. That's why I could never live in Seattle, because I would never probably leave my house. I don't really like rain. I don't like being out when it's gloomy, because I like to get comfortable at home. But this is where I know I need to be out. I need to push myself to be out. So, it's just that. But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then we'll get into your video as well.
Nobody has become successful outside of it being given to them from their family. Nobody has actually created success without working their face off. It doesn't exist. So you can sit and talk about luck, and you can sit and talk about this, that, or the other thing, but I promise you, the only controllable thing you have is your work ethic. You need to deploy serious self-awareness and figure out who you are. I implore you to start matching your work ethic and your actions to your mouth.
Why is LeBron James who he is? It's not because he's lucky. Others say he's lucky. Shit, he may have certain physical talents. Or Michael Jordan, remember I interviewed him years ago, and I said, what makes you the best in the world? Is it skill? Is it talent? Is it ability? Is it background? Is it training? And he was so awesome. He said, Tony, I can tell you the truth, and it won't sound like hyperbole or false modesty. He said, I didn't even make the high school basketball team my sophomore year. I was cut. He said, what it is every day I demand more from myself than anybody else could possibly expect. I don't compete with other people. I compete with what I'm capable of. It's just like that kind of standard is inspiring.
Today, the 18 founders of Alibaba, a lot of people think they are legendary. So wow, you're Alibaba founders. You must be super good at it. Honestly, most of us cannot find jobs early days. we're not that smart. None of us graduate from a great university. But the thing is that we are ready to learn. We believe in the future. If we work together, if we will learn, we improve, we'll be there.
I'd say the number one common thread of anybody that I work with is successful financial, athletes, people in politics, it's hunger. You know, you and I both know intelligence is a pretty damn valuable tool, but there are a lot of very smart people who can't fight their way out of a paper bag. And then when you find somebody who has that hunger, the hunger that doesn't go away, that hunger to be more, to do more, to give more, that hunger that never ends, that's how you get these people that are the best in the world at whatever they do. And so if you can, I think everybody has that hunger, but for some people it's been asleep for a long time because they're afraid. They're afraid that I'm gonna get hungry, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna fail. And so it's human nature to protect yourself from the fear by just lowering your expectations. But one of the things I've learned is you get what you tolerate. You get what you tolerate in yourself, you get what you tolerate in your life, and sooner or later, we sometimes hit a point where we say, not another day, not another hour, this is done. I'm not walking this way, I'm not talking this way, I'm not living this way, I'm not gonna be in this relationship anymore, I'm gonna change it. And when people do that, that's the beginning of a breakthrough.
Soaring prices, mass shortages. What's next?
What do we do with the screwdriver?
Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you develop. People are often asking me, how do you develop an above average income? And the answer is become an above average person. Develop an above average hand shape. Some people want to be successful and they don't even work on their hand shape. As easy as that would be to get started on, they let it slide. They don't understand. Develop an above average smile. Develop an above average intelligence. Develop an above average interest in other people. Develop an above average intensity to win. See, that will change everything. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
The first decision.
What happened? Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you, Alia. I thought it said 11 minutes. That's why, because you kept pushing it. So I'm like, oh, it's 11 minutes long. So, thank you for the heads up. Anyhow, so that's basically it. Well, thank you so much again, Alia, for joining this morning. I appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing your insight and just kind of what's out there. Best of luck, and I know you just got an offer accepted, so congratulations, and you just closed your deal, so congratulations. And I know what hard work is, and that's why you see what you see. Sometimes we all get frustrated because, believe me, it's like, what's going on, but we realize that it does take time, and what's meant to be will definitely be.
Absolutely. And that's a firm belief. And another reminder for myself before we go, it's, keep moving, keep that energy moving, because it'll come from one channel or another, but it will come as long as we don't sit idle. And that's a reminder for myself, constantly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much again. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful week. And if you guys need anything, let us know. We're here to help you guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hold on. Bye. You're still